Hi, sixth graders. It's our very last week of notes. And so make sure you grab a sheet of paper. And this will be the last set of notes that we take together online in the sixth grade. So make sure you take notes carefully. All right, we have been working on shapes and geometry the last couple weeks. We're actually going to switch gears for this very last topic, and we're going to talk about mean, median, mode, and range. And so all of these words are ways of describing a set of data. So these are ways of describing a set of data. You've probably heard maybe someone say the word statistics before. Have you heard, oh, well, the statistics say, or statistics, yeah, I spelled that right. You've heard someone say, well, statistics say this, or this is how we know a specific thing from a set of data. That's what they're using, is either mean, median, mode, range. So we're going to have to write down a couple, 4 definitions actually. So number 1, the word is mean. What does the word mean even mean? And here's its definition. It's the average. In other words, it's the number found by adding all data numbers together and dividing by how many you have. So let's look at an example of what it means to find the mean or the average. So let's say you're given some numbers. For mean, let's use 19, 16, 20, 18, and 2. So let's say you're given these numbers, and let's just give them context. Let's say I ask you, how many hours a day have you been sleeping? And so some of you might say, well, I've been sleeping for 19 hours. Someone might say, well, I slept for 16 hours yesterday. There's only 24 hours in a day, so somebody out there is sleeping 20 hours a day. Somebody's been sleeping for 18 hours, and someone didn't hardly sleep at all. They only slept for 2. And so let's just say that's what this data means. These are numbers of hours slept. And I want to know, what is the mean or the average of this set of data? And so here's what we do. We're going to take our calculator. We're going to add these numbers up. So we're just going to sum them, add them together. So we're going to do 19 plus 16 plus 20 plus 18 plus 2. And so what I just did was I added all of these numbers together, and so that gives me the answer of 75 when I add these numbers together. So you add them together first, and then, of course, the average number of hours slept is not 75. That's just the total number of hours slept. But if I want to know on average, then I'm going to divide this by, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, I have 5 different people that I've asked this question to. So 5 different data points. So I'm going to take 75 and divide it by 5. Evenly space everything out. So divided by 5, that's how many data points I have. And so the answer will be 15. 15 is the mean of this set of data, or the average of the set of data. On average, if these were numbers of hours that students have slept, on average, you all are sleeping 15 hours a night. Now, nobody actually slept 15 hours, right? But some people slept more than 15, and some people slept way less than 15. So this is just an average. We call that the mean. Let's look at one more example of mean. So let's say I give you the numbers of 8, 7, 11, 5, 14, and 15. And let's say you're asked to find the mean of this set of numbers. So first, again, we're just going to add all the numbers up. Put a plus sign between them just to remind myself of that I'm adding. So I'm going to clear this off. And we're going to add these numbers together. So 8 plus 7 plus 11 plus 5 plus 14 plus 15. Now you got to be real careful, make sure you add up all those numbers correctly. And so we get the answer of 60. But now, of course, 60 is not the average, that's just the sum or the adding up of all of our data points. We've got to divide. Now, what number are we going to divide by this time? Are we always going to divide by 5? Well, no, we have to number how many data points do I have. So I'm just going to count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 this time. So we're going to divide by 6. And 60 divided by 6, of course, is 10. And so that is the mean or the average of this set of numbers. So on your quizzes, when you're asked to find the mean, you're going to add them, add all the data numbers together, and then divide by how many numbers you have. So that's the first thing that you're going to be asked to do is find the mean. All right, definition number 2 is the median. The median. And so what does it mean to be the median? Well, the definition of median is this. It's the number in the middle when the numbers are in order from least to greatest. And so this is going to be an important part of finding the median. If you think about driving down a road, think about if you're out on 81, where is the median if you're driving on a highway? Well, the median is that middle piece of grass, right? So the word median means middle, whereas up here again, mean means average. The word median, if you're asked to find the median, you're going to be looking for that middle number. And they have to be in order from least to greatest. So let's give an example of some data, some numbers, and let's find the median. So let's say you're given the set of numbers 2, 9, 7, 3, 5. And I'm asked to find the median. So the first step you're going to want to take is to put those numbers in order. Notice we got 2 and then we skip to 9 and then we go back down to 7. We want them in order from least to greatest first. So put them in order. So 2 and then next would come 3. And I actually like to mark them out when I've actually put them in order. So 2, 3, next would come 5, next would come 7, and next would come 9. You want to make sure you get all the numbers, that you haven't forgotten any. So now we're looking at this set of numbers in order from least to greatest. 2, 3, 5, 7, 9. Now, in order to find the middle, I like this nice trick that helps us figure out which number is actually in the middle here. So what I like to do is I like to take off the bottom number and the top number and sort of work our way inwards. So if we take off 1 from each side, notice that leaves us 3 here in the middle. Well, then if I take off the next lowest one and the next highest one, I am able to find the number that is right in the middle. Notice I have 2 numbers on this side, 2 numbers on this side. 5 is your answer for this question. The median number is 5. 5 is in the middle. Now notice if we had done that over here, if we had looked in the middle of this list, 7 was in the middle, but they were not in order from least to greatest first. So we want to make sure order from least to greatest first, then find the middle. So let's try another example of finding the median. So let's try this set. 20, 16, 18, 5, 10, and 21. All right, so remember what our first step is? First step is to put the numbers in order from least to greatest. So we want to put them in order. 5 is the least. After that is going to be 10, it looks like. Then 16. Then 18. As you're working through your quizzes, you'll probably want to have a piece of paper nearby so you can do this on your paper. It's going to be hard to kind of do this on your computer screen. 20 comes next. and then 21 is the greatest. And so we check, we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We've got all the numbers, they're in order, least to greatest. Then I'm going to start marking out the lowest and the highest, working my way inwards. Lowest and highest. Now, notice what happens here. If I mark out the lowest number here and the next highest number, there's not going to be a middle number. All right, so if you get down to 2, notice there are really, it looks like 2 middle numbers here, because if I circle those, well, I've got 2 numbers on this side and I've got 2 numbers on this side. So which of these numbers is the middle? Is it 16? Is it 18? Well, we actually, when we end up with 2 numbers in the middle, we actually want to find the middle of the middle, because we cannot have 2 numbers in the middle. So if you think about 16 and 18 on a number line, or think about 16 and 18, what number comes in between them? Well, it actually ends up being 17 is the middle number. Another way of finding that is if you take your calculator and if you add these 2 numbers together. So if you were to do 16 plus 18, 16 plus 18. Why is it messing up? Here we go. 16 plus 18. 34 divided by 2. And we actually get 17 because there's 2 numbers here. And that is the middle number between 16 and 18. So let's do another set of data. And just to make sure we get this idea of median. So let's say the number 2, 14, 7, or the data set 2, 14, 7, 6, 19. And so we want to find the median. And so again, remember the first goal is to get the numbers in order. So of course 2 is the least number. The next is going to be 6, and then 7, and then 14, and then 19. And we want to find the middle number by marking off the lowest and the highest. So lowest number, highest number. Lowest number, highest number. We end up with 17, or 7 in the middle, not 17. And so that's what you will do. That's what happens when there's one number in the middle. And let's do one more example where there's 2 numbers in the middle. So let's say the last set of numbers is going to be 11, 13, 27, 15. So we put them in order first. Actually, these 2 are already in order. So 11, 13, 15, 27. Make sure they're in order from least to greatest first. 15, 27. And lowest, highest. We end up with 2 in the middle. Now notice if I were to mark out the lowest and the highest again, I would mark out all my numbers and they'd be gone. So we've got 2 middle numbers, but we have to find the middle of the middle. And so you either, if they're nice numbers and you can tell what's in the middle, like kind of like these are, you could go ahead and write it down. But the other way of doing it is doing 13 plus 15, hit equals, and divide by 2. And so we end up with, of course, 14 is the number that's in the middle. So that's how you find a median. So median is the middle number. Has to be in order from least to greatest. Alright, so let's do our third definition. Third definition is going to be mode. Mode is probably my favorite of all the definitions. It's the number that appears the most. Number that appears the most. And so if we have a set of data, 12, 25, 7, 5, 9, 7, 25, 7, we want to be looking for the numbers that occur more than once. And so, or that occur most often. So notice we've got 2 25s, but look at the 7s. We've got 3 of them. And so the mode here would be 7. It's just the number that appears the most. 7 happens more often than any other number here. Another example, 9, 6, 5, 9, 5, 5, 5, 9. Look at the numbers that appear more than once. So 9s happen a lot, but look at the 5s. 5 appears more often than any other number. Now, it is possible to have 2 modes. So if we had a set of numbers that was like 3, 11, 3, 19, 11. Notice we have 3 twice, and we also have 11 twice. So in this case, we would have, oops, that should be an 11, not 10. We would have 2 modes here. We would have 3 and 11. They both occur the same amount of times, more than once. So it is possible to have 2 modes, or more than 2 for that matter. It's also possible to have no modes. So if you have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, what number occurs most often? Well, they all occur once. And so in this case, we would have no mode if a number does not repeat itself. And so mode is the number that occurs the most. You just want to look for the number that happens more often than others. And the last definition that we will write down for this school year in the 6th grade is range. The range definition is the difference between the largest and smallest numbers. And so, like all the other problems, you're going to be given a set of data. So 10, 9, 17, 27, 32, 7. And so the first thing we want to look for is it's the difference between, first we got to find the largest number. So we look through our list of numbers, 32 here is the largest. Then we also want to look for the smallest out of all these numbers. 7 is the smallest. And we want to find the difference between the two. Now remember, difference just means to subtract. And so we're going to come over here off to the side. We can actually use our calculator to help us here as well. 32 minus 7. And we get 25. So the range here is 25. Take the highest number, take away the lowest. Now let's look at another set of data. So 28, 1, 2, 39, 43, 19, 7. And so in this case, again, we always want to find the largest first. When you're asked to find the range, find the largest number. In this case, it's 43. Find the smallest number. In this case, it's 1. And then subtract them. 43 minus 1. 43 take away 1, of course, gives us 42. And so your final answer is 42. So for all of these sets of data and for all of these definitions, you want to have your notes next to you because certain questions are going to ask you to find the mean. Some questions are going to ask you to find the median. Some questions are going to ask you to find the mode. Some questions are going to ask you to find the range. And you're going to need the definitions next to you so you know exactly what the question is asking you for. Good luck.